All right, family. We are live. Welcome to another episode of the OG Wisdom Podcast with me, your brother Tad, and our brother C Gutter. Today's conversation is going to be about the recent arrest of rapper Remy Ma Son. And we're also going to talk about a particular group feeling excluded from Kendrick's Lamar recent Juneteenth celebration. I'm happy that you can join us today. It's your brother Taz. C Gutter, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. My brother C Gutter in the house.
Peace.
What's the word, Gutter?
What's good?
Ain't nothing. I know we was talking backstage about the recent arrest of Remy. You was like, you really didn't want to touch it because you wasn't too clear on the details of the arrest.
Yeah, I don't know anything that happened. I don't know the background or nothing. So I don't like speaking on messy stuff like that.
Right, because it's very touchy. But we do have details. It's about we got to be real particular about our words on this platform. It's about the deletion of a brother who back in 2021 and 3 years later, Remy Ma Son is implicated as a suspect, but not the only suspect. You know, he's one of a few. He's one of a few suspects. So, you know, he's kind of jammed up for that. And I mean, you and I from that lifestyle where violence once was the order of the day. The brother is young. I believe he's 23 years old right now. I'm looking for the article real quick, and I want to share it. Let me see if I could share my screen. Yeah, let me try to share my screen real quick, and I can read the article. You know, share screen. Boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go. All right, so what we have right here, Remy Ma reacts to son Jason charged in Queens deletion. Questions are quickly mounting around rapper Remy Ma and her son, who is now facing criminal charges in New York City. Lisa Evers reported Thursday that Remy Ma's son, Jason J. Scott, 23, a Brooklyn native, was charged with first-degree deletion, according to law enforcement sources. According to sources, Scott and another man have been charged in connection with the June 7th, 2021 deletion of 47-year-old Darius Gillibo in Queens. The pair has also allegedly been charged with 2 counts of weapons possession and reckless endangerment. Jason, also known as Jay Smith, has appeared in several episodes of VH1's Love and Hip Hop New York and Remy and Papoose, Meet the Mackies, alongside his mother when he was younger. Remy says she is committed to proving Jason's innocence and supporting her child during this time. Dawn M. Florio, an attorney representing Remy, released a statement after the charges saying that this has been a trying time for her and the family. Remy herself served 6 years and has been vocal about the time that she lost away from her husband and children while behind bars. We stand by Jason's innocence and hope the NYPD will conduct a complete and thorough investigation to reveal the truth. Dawn M. Florio, attorney representing Remy Ma. And here she goes, Remy Ma and her son, who's charged with the deletion. Jason and another man believed to be Richard Swigert, 22, according to the Post, has each been charged with first-degree deletion. It's unclear if Jason himself pulled the trigger or if he hired the hit that took the life of Gillibo, who lived at the Ravenswood houses in Astoria, Queens. Back in 2021, police reported that Gillibo was found with shots to the head and to the chest. Gillibo had an extensive criminal history 8 months before he was deleted, including an indictment in a massive drug trafficking operation. Jason is expected to be arraigned early next week. And then it goes on to saying, who is Remy Ma? And of course, her incident that she had back in 2007. And there's more information, but this is just something I wanted to bring up real quick, Gutter, you know, because we hear this all the time in the hood. And given the track record, because I think last week when we were talking about, what was it last week, week before last week, it was Father's Day. We was talking about Father's Day and being parents. And though sometimes people revel in this kind of stuff, I feel bad for both sides of the families because there's no winner in these cases. You know, somebody, because our children is older than this little brother. You know what I mean? And there's a chance that Remy could lose her son to the penal system, and someone already lost their son, Gillabo, you know, son, friend, brother, husband, could be father. I don't know if he had children, to these streets. And I think as OGs who've been through, you know, violent cases, you know, we've had violent cases. There's no upside to this. Sometimes people like to revel and say, yo, that's what they get. This is what you sign up for. But I don't know. I think this has to be talked about by people who really live there. Because I don't know if you experienced this, Gutter. People who say they about that life who never busted grape before. You know, people who glorify the violence and deletions in the hood, but that never really was who they were. What's your thoughts on what we just read?
Like I said, I really can't speak. I don't have no details. I don't know how Shorty grew up or anything. So
Right.
like I said, like I don't know them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like speaking like I told you before, I don't like speaking on stuff I don't have no clue about. You know what I mean? Because I mean, obviously, a homie that's 47, he been in the streets for a while. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know. Could have been anything, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know I don't like it could be a situation where he was pressing Shorty and them, and they felt that's their only recourse because he's really about that life. You understand? Right. It could be anything, bro.
Yeah.
They wanted he get money. They wanted his. That's why I don't like speaking on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's things where you could be like, it's messed up, but damn.
Yeah. I look at these things as cautionary tales, though, because whatever the thing is, at the end of the day, it's never really losing your life or freedom behind, whatever it is. And I'm quite sure some of us have made those mistakes. And unfortunately, people don't see it as mistakes. Sometimes people just see it as you keeping it real, you keeping it a buck.
Now, I'm not going to lie. It's certain things that I'm willing to, you know,
stand on. Yeah.
Yeah. If that's what has to happen, that's what it is. And I'm going to live with the consequences. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I can't
really call it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't want to speak on something where I don't know the details. Even if Shorty did it, he might not have did it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't like, especially it's so fresh and new. You don't have no details whatsoever.
Right.
I don't know about Shorty background. You know what I'm saying? They put homeboys that got unalived details about his criminal history and all. Guy got extensive criminal history, but that's neither here nor there.
Right, because they use that to
they use that on us all the time. It's just all right. Yeah. It's in a sense it's good. You know what I'm saying? Because he got took off the streets. He was a menace and and then we got this other dude. We can send him away.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Understanding the media. That's why I say I don't like. If I don't know nothing about stuff like that, I don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a nasty situation, and that's why I always say, you know, there's no winners in this.
No, definitely not.
And unfortunately, there's always folks who look to gain from this. You know, you got a whole group of people who invest in the prison industrial complex, who every time they see something like this, they see dollar signs. Their eyes light up. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the coroner, you got the morgue, you got like there's big business in Black Death. And I think a lot of people don't realize how high up the ladder this goes to everybody who gets paid off of this. From the funeral home directors to, of course, the city morgues, the DTs, detectives get overtime. You know, of course, the prison systems get filled and they make money off of that for everybody they incarcerate. You know, they just charge the government, like, look, we housing this one, give us 50, 60,000 per year, because this is what it's taking us to keep this person incarcerated. I think a lot of times when we talk about crime and criminality, we don't talk about those who benefit off of it.
Damn. And we don't talk about who they really charging the taxpayers.
Yeah, definitely.
So everybody that's working, you giving up a piece of whatever they taking from you to house these individuals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is 80-some% us.
Yeah. Which is designed like that. In fact, speaking of us, because I know Juneteenth just passed, but we could tie this into the 13th Amendment where they say slavery is abolished except in the prison system, unless you duly convicted of a crime, which means slavery exists in jail. You turning the prison to the new slave plantation.
What happened? No, you actually turning the system, the judicial system, into the slave system.
Definitely.
Prison is just the plantations.
Yeah. Yeah. State sanctioned plantation.
Yeah, that's just a plantation. The judiciary is they the ones that are, you know, feeding the people to the plantations.
Yeah. So it pretty much went from
it's the lawmakers and the judiciary.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it. Certain laws weren't made until we were free.
Right. Black code laws, things like that.
Loitering and all of that. They're like,
yeah. And it's funny how these folks work, because slavery went from private ownership to government ownership through the prison systems, and now they're privatizing it, turning it right back into private ownership, which is
it's both.
Yeah.
The government gets paid to allow you to have this.
Right. But then they privatize
it. Yeah, you build a plantation. We're gonna subsidize it. And then you're gonna give our PC is gonna come. You know what I'm saying? And you get your PC.
Yeah, money hand over fist. And that ties into those who invest in the prisons are the same people who are invested into the music industry that promote a particular message to our young people that this is what's up. Sure enough, as we on these platforms, certain words we can't use. However, in our music, this stuff is celebrated. I think we're probably one of the few, if not the only groups that get paid millions of dollars to celebrate genocide, because that psychosis dictates our behavior, which has us running around hating on each other, looking at each other as enemies and ops, feeding this beast.
Well, they don't have nothing to do with the music industry. That music industry is just a small part and parcel of the larger system. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's just a inkling of, you know what I'm saying? That's just an inkling. That's just money play in their eyes. It's not no, you know, coerced. You know what I'm saying? No, you know, thought out. It's a thought out plan that they know they can make money. Niggas talk about this because we're gonna get it 360.
Right,
you know
but that's what I mean.
All the businesses that are, but it's a larger system in place when we in areas where we've been ghettoized. We place in areas where we can't move out of. until a certain time. Then when you stuck in poverty, what else is gonna happen?
You got crime.
You got crime.
But
so when the individuals talk about, and individuals in the music industry talk about that, what they want is, which is, that's why I said it's a small part, they want you to talk about the negative aspects of the ghetto.
Right. But then when we talk positivity, that's the stuff that don't get no airplay, because it's not like our hoods is all crime, because we got beautiful people, we got community, we got family.
You gotta think about it. Even with the when you just said the Juneteenth with the Kendrick and Drake shit, it was a diss song, but it was positivity in it because dude was teaching history to a lot of people that don't know history.
Right.
Which is the masses. I guarantee you 90% of the young people outside of, I mean, even college students, unless they're taking Black studies, don't know that about the history of Atlanta.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he painted a picture, even though it's a diss, he painted a picture of history to show you, you know what I'm saying, the correlation to your actions to the past that the Europeans did. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's
so you link Drake as the colonizer.
Exactly.
And the same behaviors, yeah.
Exactly. So he is like, you have those artists where this was the perfect time for the culture to win.
Right. But that was right. But that's a battle that was won for the culture.
But this is what I'm saying.
There's a bigger war going on though. Because how did Drake get in that position? Drake is the ops.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people that actually bought a Drake album that I know of. I never bought a Drake album. I never seen nobody say, yo, I'm about to go cop that Drake joint. You know,
you got to think about it. When they came out, nobody was copping albums anyway.
Right.
Everybody was streaming. And I was in prison, I knew this.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like,
everybody was downloading. So you can download a song. You don't have to download the whole album.
Right. But I mean, so really like support Drake, I should say, in other words.
We never support anybody. Anyway, let's be honest. Who's the biggest supporters of any artist?
Mostly the Europeans.
There you go. We support them in a different way. We don't support them as much financially as we do culturally. You understand what I'm saying? That means getting behind them, because we make the way for everybody else. If a bunch of white kids hear a Black kid listening to the song and singing and dancing to it and booing, they see too many, they're gonna want to know what that song is.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like when they use the music, what they've done is weaponize it.
Huh? No, it's money.
They weaponize the music.
We're in a capitalistic society.
Right. But that's also about the money and its relation to the prison system.
This is what I'm saying. That's my point, is it's bigger than all of that. We're in a capitalistic society. Right. Capitalism and white supremacy goes hand in hand.
But you know what, I don't think there's too many societies that don't operate without money, without capital.
No. Capitalism. That means, you know what an ism is?
Yes, I do.
That means that's a ideology.
Right.
It's not just working off of capital. That's an ideology. That means this is the end all and be all. This is your God. That's what capitalism is. Money is their God. They talk about Christianity and all that, or Islam or whatever. If they're capitalists, that's who they create is.
And you know what I've learned in a lot of societies, just looking at how they operate in this day and age, most of them operate off of the money. Even when you look at I mean, give me a couple of countries that's not based on capitalism. I'm just curious. Like money's they bottom line is not the dollar.
bro, we're in a society that
I'm talking
bases.
about outside of this society.
How can you know when all the media you get is from this society? That's
Because,
all they base. They base everybody's strength on military and money.
but
That's
that's
all
why I'm
they
asking. But
that's
that's
what
why
they
I'm
base
asking.
their strength at. So that's all they view everybody else as.
But
we watch European based media, bro. Let's be honest.
not me. Come on, we got African channels. We got tons of like this. The internet. There's not one news program we cannot see. There's not one we can't watch. There's not one
Understand
from
what I'm
nowhere.
saying? What is the lens of every country from this media is showing you?
No, I'm talking about
Since
watching.
you was born, brother. This is what I'm saying. Since you were born, brother. So you could pick a couple of countries, but from the mass, you don't know all of the countries because they're gonna block it out.
But that's why I'm asking. Which countries are being blocked out?
Shit. Before Gaddafi, Libya.
All right. And they wasn't basing their growth in economics.
Bro, everybody has to base it in economics. They didn't base it in capitalism.
No, I hear that part.
Because so what are you asking me, brother? Every country
nation is not going to grow without money. Because see,
what I'm saying.
Hear what you're saying about gods and ideas.
Every country in the world has to base something off economics. That's just facts.
Thank you, K-Fighter. K-Fighter said Vietnam, Myanmar, Cuba, and China. Yeah, and that's what I'm asking. I'm just asking for countries. I'm not
Zimbabwe.
But that's what I was asking you. I wasn't disagreeing. I'm asking you a specific question. You know why? Gotta hit me real quick. Because when people come, they come to learn. And if we make vague statements and don't back it up, and I'm asking you because I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This ain't of a point of contention. Qualify the statements is what I'm asking for.
It's a lot of countries that's not capitalistic.
But that's why I asked for a few. Greece
is a socialistic country.
Okay, now we talking.
You got a lot of socialist country. I'm talking about European countries, and I'm trying to think of European countries that's socialist. Outside, I'm talking about from the same. You get blocked out. You know what I'm saying? No, you got a few in South America, Venezuela, socialist, Suriname, socialist, Trinidad, socialist, I think Guyana as well. They socialists. They're not capitalists. Capitalist means that you care, like capitalist means that the ideas of the corporations matter more than anything else.
Right. No, I'm not disagreeing with that. Because to your point, hear me, to your point, a lot of the behaviors we see in the hood is stemmed around what? The bag.
Because, homie, this is what I'm saying. We've been inundated with that.
Yes.
Our entire lives. So we don't know how to not think like that. And that's everybody.
And how do you break out of the cycle? How do you break out the chain? Because like K-Fighter gave some examples.
You have to learn not to be a capitalist.
Oh, definitely. We had to learn that we wasn't just slaves. We could unlearn a lot of things that we've been falsely taught. And that comes back to the point about the behaviors in the hood where we slaughter each other over the quote unquote bag. It's nothing less. It's always, yo, I got to get mine. I'll knock them off for 10 bands. How do we unplug from that mindset? Because this is a conversation that's not had enough.
Everybody's not going to unplug from that.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
First of all, we got to understand is, bro, we just came out of horror for over 200 plus years, not 200 years ago. So we still dealing with that. I don't know why people think we got a quick fix for anything. What we got to understand is what we got to do is the only way it could be bred out is the same thing like scientific. You got to cull it out. So it has to go through stages. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be in a joint where we're aware that once we reach a stage, that the enemy got something set up for us to knock us back down. That's what we keep putting trust in the enemy every time we gain. And we put trust in the enemy and look what happened.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So now we got to understand that we can no longer trust. We can't trust the enemy to help you get out of oppression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the problem with a lot of us, we think it is all economics.
Well, in this paradigm we in,
it's not all economics.
So what's some of the ideas you think are effective by some of the master teachers? What's some of the ideas that you learned, like studying some of the master teachers, that's applicable to our conditions now?
That we can use?
Yeah.
Educating. Because you got to educate at home because the system is not going to educate us. So it has to be more hands-on. And we gotta teach the parents that don't know so they can teach the kids. That's what we got to do. We got to have a concerted effort to teach the parents, the young parents that get inundated with all this nonsense about them. You know what I mean? Teach them their history. So they teach, you know what I'm saying? So they know how to teach the kids. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to all we got to literally be together. Like, fuck, like, I don't, because that's the problem. People is being individualistic for capital. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they always compromise anything we have going on.
Yeah.
Is they giving somebody some money.
Well, me and Sister K Fighter, we always had that conversation on faulty leaderships and the sellout of those in position of influence. I don't even like using the word power because most people don't know what power is. People like that word. People holler black power. People will say power, power, power. But from my estimation, a lot of it is not power. Most of it is influence. In fact, I was having that conversation earlier today because when you have knowledge of yourself and you have any type of adversary and you can stand 10 toes down, you are standing in your power. Most people will just follow. So how do Al Sharpton still got a platform? Why do people listen to Dr. Mark Lamar Hill or Cornel West? People who was in opposite positions of Dr. Clark. In fact, I always thought it was funny. I don't know if you ever seen this video of Dr. Clark and Dr. Cornel West having a debate. But Cornel West was holding a position, that we hold. You can't trust the ops. Cornel West still believed that there's some goodness in these folks that we can appeal to that will help us. And history has shown us that that's not the case. That is not the case.
I mean, this is the thing. In order to be an ally, you got to do the work. You understand what I'm saying? So the problem is everybody outside of Black culture say they're ally, but be like, yeah, Nah, it ain't. It's not for. In order for you to be an ally to us, is you got to do the work without us asking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're not actually taking steps to break the system, then you're not an ally.
Exactly. Or
So like that's like my man. If my homie is somewhere else and somebody talking bad about me, what is he supposed to do?
hold you down.
Exactly. That's what an ally is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You working without us knowing.
Right. Or we do know, but you don't want the benefit of it all. Because that's
Yeah,
what happens.
yeah.
People
It's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of the people you're fighting for. So we don't have to know what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't have to know individually that you going to do this. You know when I know you're an ally is when it come time and you just on the front line and I'm like, oh shit. I see whose side he on.
Right. But not wanting the benefit, because I think that's how our folks been through so many
Listen to what I'm
times.
saying. When it goes down and he's popping off without you asking, obviously he's not looking for a benefit.
Yeah.
Look at the context I'm putting it in.
Yeah, no, because we've had that time and time again where we thought we had allies. In fact, that's how the NAACP was formed. I mean, look how many black folks still holler NAACP, Rainbow Push.
All right. Now, the ally we actually had, you know what I'm saying? One, John Brown.
Yeah, my man. That was the only one I could think of.
So no, we have few, and I got educated on that. We had a few, you know what I'm saying? But he just went all out. He went to the extreme.
Yes, him and his sons.
He went from our perspective where we would go. So that's why we see him as the
an ally.
Yeah, we see, but we had others that were in allyship. You know what I'm saying? Without us asking. We couldn't ask it. You know what I'm saying? Us asking it didn't matter anyway. So if a motherfucker is pushing for us, you know what I'm saying? And then he didn't just push, he also it's like, nah, I ain't just gonna do this, but I'm gonna get you can fight for yourself.
Yeah, the raid on Harper's
Ferry. That's why they was trying to get the guns.
Right, out of Harper's Ferry, out the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, for many people not familiar, John Brown was a white man who was the real sense of the word abolitionist, because him and his sons took up arms to fight alongside black people to help free black people from enslavement. You know, during the Civil War at that. In fact, he did confer with Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. And to your point about individualism, because a lot of people don't realize that people worked in concert to move the needle forward. But the way history will sell it to us is that everybody worked individual, which give us an individualistic idea and mentality of what has happened throughout history. So yeah, John Brown was, and that's the only one I could really think of in the lines, because when you think of other folks, like even black folks, one that comes to mind is Bayard Rustin. How as the past 10 years, they've been trying to push Bayard Rustin on everybody, like he really done so much for the civil rights movement. And he was nothing but an enemy who looked like us. But he was saying, yeah, let's align with this group of people. Let's align with that group of people. But he was actually bringing the ops into the fold. And that's why I'm always so hard on getting people out of our midst who don't mean us no good, because some people will look like us and they should have the same interests, but they want to bring people in who say they're allies, but really aren't.
All right. And I'm gonna give it to you like this. Is people they're of us partially culturally, but part of their culture is of you know
other folks.
Yoruba.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the disconnect, because he still want to keep that
Yeah,
which is totally in opposition to our culture.
Yes. And that's back to Kendrick, how we got here. And that's what made Kendrick score so big, because what he was about was unifying us and calling out the colonizers, like what he called Drake as, because he's the modern day Bayard Rustin, because everybody know who Lucian Grange is, but
He's clearly black. You know what I'm saying?
Blackish. Because Dr. Clark said no good African ever came from between the legs of a white woman. So his mom was his
No, what I'm saying,
yeah,
because culturally, because like, and this go, mama's maybe, papa's maybe, mama's baby.
yeah.
That's a old African adage.
Yes, it is.
That's why we're on a maternalistic for the most part. Your uncles raised the son because the father might be dead or might not be here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Is the culture your mother's culture is what raises you.
Yes.
You're raised outside of the culture. And when you come in, what you do is what you best at, acting. He start acting like Texas niggas, then he start acting like Atlanta niggas. He act like some British niggas, some Jamaican niggas. You know what I'm saying? He even act like Canadian street dudes.
Yeah.
That's actually from the culture. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Our sister K Fighter says we have to have an understanding that if you play with us, your life is in danger, period. By the way, that's why Charles Barron is so scared, because he knows that when nobody's looking, I'm snuffing him. My sister, shout out to Charles Barron. Oh man.
No, it's a couple people I know don't care for cars. Yeah, I know a couple people who don't care for cars that want to put hands on them.
Yeah. One day he and I had a dope conversation, and it was about the inner workings of the movement. And that's what I'm saying, Gutter. And I'm glad Sister K Fighter, like I said, we got to get Sister K Fighter back on the show. Like, how do we identify who's the allies? Because for the masses, it's easy to dupe them. And when we take a hard stance, like me, you, Sister K Fighter, Sister Farnessa, Brother Ray, there's a lot of people in our audience that takes hard stances. And unfortunately, people think we're being too strict, too militant, too tight. And we definitely have to have a vetting process, because this is how we keep getting infiltrated. We build this trust, because even with Kendrick Lamar did a dope thing. He unified a lot of LA on the stage during Juneteenth. I sent you the video earlier. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, but there was a Mexican who said he felt left out. And why weren't there no Mexicans? Because black and brown. And my thing is, I'm tired of the oppression contest that everybody tries to have with black people, because our story is unique. Our story is unique to the world. A lot of people, there's not one group you're not going to find that hasn't been oppressed some way, some shape, form, and fashion. But I was so systematic and went on for centuries.
None like African descended people.
Right.
Because like, even like when I was speaking on Ireland, you know what I'm saying? Blacks were in Ireland and got kicked out.
Yeah.
Or killed. The men. You know they're gonna keep the women.
Right.
You know what I mean? Same thing in the Highlands of Scotland. Because you got to remember, the Moors weren't just Muslims. The Moors was that's black people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of the difference between
in Spain. Yeah.
No, not just in Spain.
But all black people didn't call themselves Moors.
No, this is what they called them. This is all right. After a certain time, the blacks in Europe were considered Moors.
Okay.
Africans were considered Africans. You understand what I'm saying? They almost the same people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Genetically the same, culturally kind of different, even though the cultures are the same. You understand what I'm saying? Because they've been in Europe so long now, they done adapted certain, you know what I'm saying, certain ways that adapt to that climate. Because the climate is different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why you know what I'm saying? But they were all over Europe.
So why do you think so many people want to be a part of our culture? It's almost like nobody likes us, but everybody want to be a part of it. From your studies, what's your thoughts on that?
Jealousy. Because all right, I'm eat from the video only sent. First of all, he don't even know what Juneteenth is.
Right.
So if you don't even understand what it's about, you know what I'm saying? Why would like when black people do Cinco de Mayo, you know the reason why we get involved with Cinco de Mayo, most black people that are culturally aware is because we know it was an Afro-Mexican that was the general.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's a kinsman to us. That's
Yeah.
why we celebrate along with Mexicans.
Yeah. And in
And
fact, Thursday on Thorough Black Talk, we just talked about the black towns that were settled in Mexico
yeah,
after quote unquote
you gotta
abolition.
remember also, you gotta remember the Seminoles
Yep. Exactly. One of the first ones
went
in
right
Mexico.
across from Mexico
Yeah.
and helped them, and they were instrumental in guarding their borders.
Yes. In fact, it's funny you say that because in Ivan Van Sertima's They Came Before Columbus, he talks about the Seminoles. And the Europeans didn't understand that when they first came with Africans, the Seminoles help fight and free the first Africans. This was in the early 1500s. This is
Yeah,
before
you
it was
gotta know
colonized by Britain and they started
that,
the
you know
619.
where that come from. They come from the Spanish word cimarron.
Right,
Right.
right.
So it really actually, because I think it was the Creeks that they allied with, and that's how the amalgamation became the Seminoles.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history of our folks in not just here but also in Mexico that most people need to familiarize themselves with, because when we hold the line, folks get upset in to the point. And people don't know the video we talking about is there was a Mexican that asked why there was no Mexicans represented at Kendrick Lamar's Juneteenth pop-up show, which was dope because he had rival gangs up there unifying. And I don't think people understand the significance of the world seeing that brothers can unify, because what people used to think is that the red and the blues was always at odds with each other and it was always on sight, and that wasn't always the case, and it's not the case now. You know,
Right.
it's a lot of politics that
It's,
those outside of it can't really speak on, but they do share some things. Because when I was in Cali, they explained to me, because I was out there with red and blue, and they was explaining that the OGs still hold true to the 92 truths that they had after the Rodney King beating. However, there's still that history that exists that doesn't go ignored, but they don't play with it either. And they don't feel kindly to people coming outside trying to speak on it from what little they know, because it rehashes old wounds that they're trying to put behind them, you know?
well, maybe the OGs, young niggas been broke that shit, guys.
Yeah, but that's what they said. They said that the young dudes, they was like, yo, the young dudes, they don't really respect it. And that's why a lot of young dudes get disciplined by their own OGs.
You got like I don't like speaking on that because I'm not from none of them hoods out there. So
Right.
I'm gonna leave that at that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that was big, him bringing a lot of hoods You know,
right. That's my point, because that's the energy that's
a lot
going
of
on.
hoods together on stage, and ain't nothing go wrong. It was just a celebration.
Right.
Saying, and that's what he was basically speaking about. The culture is like, I have a culture I come from. You don't have one, so you just coming over here just picking, because we have, even though we're one black culture, we have a lot of subsets. We're regional. You know what I'm saying? We are regional black people. Somebody can say we tribal as shit in the United States. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, even on the continent.
It is, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. I'm just showing that we all one, but we have our own identities, regional as well. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know. See, this is the difference between us and the continent. For the most part, we know, even though we view each other different, we know the oppressor doesn't.
Exactly.
And so everybody that comes here, we automatically assume that they know the same thing. That's why we always clashing with others, because they not aware of the reality of the world. Like us people in the Western Hemisphere, Africans in the Western Hemisphere are clearly aware of the larger system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But a lot of us that are not from those regions are not aware. So when they come here, it's always a clash. Cause we like, yo, nigga, I don't care what this dude told you. You like us. And they're like, no, I'm not like that. All right. And then when they find out, we done had too much animosity.
Yeah. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
and that's what that's the tricky part, because some folks who should rightfully be aligned with us, because like you said, there is a cultural difference even here in the States, and even with us and our continental African brothers and sisters, they still listen to the enemy. I spoke to a Nigerian sister. We did a lot of dope stuff together. You know, this is the sister that introduced me and Sister K Fighter to Dr. Africana, you know, who at the time was the representative of the African Union. And she said that when she came here, she was specifically told by immigration, stay away from Black Americans. And there's tons of Black people that come here, you know, migrants, whether it's the Caribbeans or the continent, that are told to stay away from Africans here in America. Yeah. Because when you look at what goes on here, Amadou Diallo, what's the brother, Abner Louima, all of them, more Black Americans were out in the streets fighting for them than actually Haitians in continental Africans. Abner Louima was a Haitian that got jammed up.
But I'm gonna tell you the reason. They're scared to get their green card snatched.
Yeah.
Bunch of illegals. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of people that came over here. You know what I'm saying? They got over here how they got over here. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then the families don't want their families targeted that might came in a different way. So it's a different dynamic. You can't send us nowhere.
Right.
That's why we more militant. You can't deport us. You know what I'm saying? When in all actuality, we wish we could go and have our own shit. You know what I'm saying? If we can't get it here, because it's obvious they don't want to give us shit.
But see, and that's where the problem comes in, because these people don't stand on business. When we take it serious, because our lives are literally on the line. You think in this society, in this country, let's just talk about America. Everything, from my estimation, has been weaponized against us. Whether we talk about the entertainment, whether we talk about the education, whether we talking about the foods, whether we talking about even to sexual practices now, how they force the rainbow on us more than anybody else and use our folks as the poster children for this backwards behavior, I'll say, the LGBT community. It's like, where do we turn? We want alliances with people. We want to let people in, but when they come in, they give their power to those who influence them, and they don't stand on business, because we being led down the deadly road. In fact, I was talking earlier with somebody about how society is so messed up that we really have arguments about what is a man and what's a woman, when even in the animal and plant world, those species know the difference between male and female. And here we got to take all types of courses and all types of trainings to identify with people who have multiple personalities.
I mean, I think the problem is even having an argument. Like I would never argue about nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. People give voice to an argument that's nonsensical.
But that's where we at now, because you could get in trouble for not recognizing somebody from their position that you don't agree with. It's almost like you got to agree with everybody else and you can't have your own position. A dude walk up to you and call me she, you like, nah. And now you're quote unquote infringing on their rights. How? When your rights are not being respected. And that's the part people
but this is where we have to be strategic. We don't engage with individuals that's not my culture. I'm not engaging with it. Period. Literally.
Well, they
engage with it. No, you can't engage with me if I don't allow you to.
Right. We like to think, but then there's something called invasion and invading your space. And in fact, even in this quote unquote,
they can't invade my space, because anytime I'm outside of my crib, I'm in the public space, bro. This is we got to understand. That's one. We in a public space. You know what I'm saying? This is where we have to be more strategic. Because I know somebody that got 20 years for engaging with one of them and assaulting. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be strategic. Why engage?
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why engage?
No. I'm saying, like, you're not going to avoid them, because to your point, it is the public, and they're going to come around and invade the space. In fact, we had a meeting in Boston. We had for our organization, for our group, and they came in as Black folks, as quote unquote Black medias, but they came in with an agenda. In fact, you even had within the quote unquote Black Power movement, you had some a flaming alphabet person who was twerking under the red, black, and green space, bringing that energy and element where, in this space, we don't support that behavior. This is our culture.
Obviously, that wasn't the space. You understand what I'm saying? When you saw that wasn't the space. It was just people, bro. Anybody can buy. I done seen clear people with red, black, and green flags and
I'm not denouncing that, because my point is that these alliances that everybody looking for, I'm always big on the vetting process with folks, because we had a private spot we rented. They come in as Black folks. Yeah, we the Black media, da. And at the end, they tried to challenge the position. We took it outside. It's on video somewhere out here. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot for Sister K Fighter not to hit nobody, but it was a lot. As Brother C. Groom said, even with David Banner infiltrated an area. I was in Africa at the time, but David Banner came in there with all of his foolishness, and he got G-checked. there's a lot of people got what Sister K Fighter said. Yeah, the Gazi Kodo dude from the Hoover movement, twerking, bringing that LGBT energy. And this is what I'm saying. Spaces that, but here it is. They got the ops on their side. They come in the spirit of the ops to destroy what we have.
You already know that's not. That's what I'm saying. What's serious? I mean, all right. This is my point.
That's what we said, Sister Farnessa. If a meeting isn't geared towards your group, then why show up to an event that's not for you just to cause problems? And that's what I'm saying. That's what ops do.
Where we at. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We have to be more strategic. It's never going to be bananas, brother, because they're always going to find something to disrupt what you got going on.
And we have to be, and that's what I'm saying, brother.
It's the struggle. That's what I'm saying. Why do you think it's the struggle? We are struggling against a system far larger than ours.
With those who look like us, who talk like us, who dress like us, and there's no consequence.
But this is what I'm saying, brother. We have to understand that those individuals are gonna be, if we haven't learned nothing from the past 60 some years now. Come on, brother. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
We supposed to know those type of, so it's up to people to you know when a dude is saucy. You know when the female is, oh, you know what I'm saying? Come on, my God.
No, we
and then when they bring those conversations up, this is not what our movement is focused on.
Exactly.
Sorry, you know what I'm saying? We're not answering any questions concerning that.
Right. And it's not just them, it's the supporters. And that's what I'm saying. When we say alliances, because I'm in the mindset that those of us who supposed to be about that life gotta be about that life. Only reason why we didn't turn loose because cameras are rolling and you don't want to indict yourself. And again, that would be, as funny as it sounds, that would be labeled as a hate crime. Defending
it's gonna be a hate crime.
Deemed to be your sacred space, even if those folks are violating.
This is what I'm saying. We have no sacred spaces anymore unless it's your home.
Or we can create them. But how do we create them? Because even in your home, like shit, Jay kicking the door. That's it. With or without a warrant.
Oh, well, then repercussions is gonna happen. I mean, we
right.
Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm of a mindset of you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna engage them. If you engage me, I'm gonna tell you what it is I'm about. You can either accept it and move on, or just sit there and continue to look stupid. Because I'm not gonna continue to engage you. You understand what I'm saying? Once you engage me and I give you an answer, it's done. It's over.
Yeah, unless
that's why I said that's what we got to be strategic. Listen, no disrespect to you, but you're of a culture I'm not a part of. Boom.
Yeah, and of course
it's so simple
because
that is a culture, my nigga.
Right, but here's the thing, because this is where the issue come in. Their position is to move us out of our culture and into theirs. And that's where the conflict comes in, because if we don't stand on ours,
there's no conflict.
There's always conflict. That's the nature of the world. Show me any place.
I understand what I'm saying when I say there's no conflict with that. If this is my path, nothing else can change that.
Oh no, I agree with that 100%.
So there's no conflict.
But now if you blocking my path or trying to knock me off my path, we got a conflict. If you telling my children that my daughter could be a boy and my son could be a girl, we have a conflict. Because again, we move out in public. where certain messages are in plain sight, where the messages are on the trains, the messages are on the bus. It's on 50-foot high billboard.
Who is the best teacher for your children?
I am.
So if you know how to teach, bro, then everything past that is your child's choice.
Based on influence. And that's why I talked about the difference between power and influence. Because there's a heavy influence out here.
Your influence and power should be strong enough.
Oh, mine is strong.
That's what I'm saying.
But check this out.
I'm talking about, I'm not speaking to you specifically.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
This is to everybody.
The general conversation, yeah.
General conversation. If we're in the struggle, brother, that's the struggle. And that's the struggle. So any other conflict is meaningless.
Right. But that's the struggle.
We're born in,
But we call it struggle, we call it conflict, because what it is people don't want us to be our natural selves. There's messages and images going out there, even chemicals that's injected in our food for us not to be who we naturally are. And that's the problem. That's the conflict.
Since they came in contact, they didn't want us to be our natural selves.
Right. So, and yes,
that's why I said teaching the kids, the parents to teach the kids, because once the parents know, they have an inkling. You know what I'm saying? Because they just know shit ain't right. But when they're taught why shit ain't right, they can teach their kids why shit ain't right. Now, when you understand why shit ain't right, now you can go to look for the solutions in order to change it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's how we call out all the negative. You know what I'm saying? Because most of it, bro, is trauma and ignorance. And ignorance because of trauma.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of healing that got to be done.
Yeah. And that's why it was important that we had a lot of doctors as leaders and teachers in our community, in our movement. Because you think our OGs are actually Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Ivan Van Serena, Dr. Khaled. We had those who were really in healing spaces with real credentials that can speak on these things. Unfortunately, we in a space now where it's all about who get the most likes, the most views. It's all about influences. And that's what's moving our people in the wrong direction. Because to your point, it's always been a struggle with us in the Yurugu for us not to be our natural selves. And some of our folks don't realize that they're being led astray because we got folks that look like us, but they're not talking about what we're talking about because they don't have the information, they don't have the guidance, they don't have the reference.
It's a reference. What I'm saying, and that's my point is if we know how to educate our children, you know what I mean? I could just imagine like if all the kids had the information I had when I was coming up.
Yeah.
Saying in my generation, where we'd have been at. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody had the same, you know what I'm saying? The same, but that's the thing, everybody don't have the same parentage.
Right.
Some parents are, it was a situation where both of them was immature and, things of that nature. Or both of them in the streets.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you in the streets, your opportunity for picking up new information is limited. So everything is based on what you're trying to do right here, right now.
Yeah, what Sister Farnessa said, Black people must get back to building our own schools, and it can be done by using these churches that empty during the week and hire retired Black teachers to supplement their income. I agree 100%. In fact, Peace and blessings to my elder Queen Mama and Zingo, who transitioned a few years back. I believe they named the street after her in Queens. When they was about to have a ceremony, COVID had hit and shut everything down. But that's something, and I agree with you, Gutter, because that's something I've been doing in the community, like 4 years and years ago. And in fact, we're going to reinstitute that. But again, you mentioned strategy and moving strategic. And one thing we got to recognize is that there's we're talking, you and I are talking about multi-generational, you know, teach the next 2, 3, 4 generations coming behind us. These folks put stuff in place that they know they're not going to see. They're not going to be around to see. And I think that's the hardest part, thinking so far ahead for us in this struggle we have for our own identity, our self-determination. We still have to deal with the ops in our grasp. And I think that's what Kendrick's position was with Drake. You know, let's deal with these people in our midst that are acting like they are of us, but they got other people interests. Because that's on the music scale. But we can talk about.
Well, he's just saying he's just organized. He's part of the larger enemy.
Yeah.
Like, and he's talking morally, you know what I'm saying?
Ethically, yeah.
His ethics with as far as being an MC. You know what I'm saying? Because like you can't be nowhere near the top anything if anybody wrote anything for you as an MC.
That's a fact.
You understand what I'm saying? So he just broke it down like part of, like it wasn't just black hip hop culture, it's black culture at large. You know what I'm saying? It's like you like using black culture at large, but you're not from black culture.
Right.
And this is a message to him and everybody else who, you know what I'm saying?
Come in that space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like what our brother Corey said. Our brother C. Groom. He said, I find it interesting that folks can identify with culture, but if the masses identify with a nationality to get reparation, then identity would get shut down. And that's real. And I think that touches on what Sister Vanessa said earlier. You know, we at least need to come and agree on an identity. You know, because you're speaking from a cultural perspective, which I'm in agreement with. Sister Vanessa said facts. That's the only way. If we aren't going to deal with the bootlickers and traders in our midst first, then what are we doing? Yeah, you know that's my position, Sister Vanessa. Like, we got to get, you know, God, it's like when you're in the hood and you're on the block and you know a dude coming around like, who this dude? He ain't one of us. He ain't from the hood. You know what I'm saying? What's his MO? Is he Jake? Is he the ops? You know, in the streets, I think we vet dudes around us more than those of us who's trying to move the quote unquote culture or community forward. Because even if somebody come with gifts,
I gotta push back a little bit.
All right. Who would you let stand amongst you in the hood that ain't from?
If we vetted motherfuckers as much as we did, we wouldn't have the shit that's going on now.
That's what I'm saying. But not in the streets though, because I'm talking about your tight circle. Like dudes in your circle. Like dudes you grew up with. You know who's who. You know who they families. You know who they moms.
I'm talking about culturally.
Oh, yeah. So ain't no pushback. That's agreement right there.
Yeah, culturally, dudes don't vet dudes.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about street culture. I ain't talking about in the broader culture. I mean, even in street culture, when I'm gonna tell you this, man, dudes let their emotions take over more than anything.
Well, thank goodness.
Nothing won't happen to a dude when it should, because dudes like him.
Right.
It's right. That money.
You said that and money?
Yeah. Like we literally are capitalists, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a large majority of are capitalists to the core, and most of them are in the streets.
Well, yeah. Because and that's what I said in your tight group. Because I've how can I say this? It's like you got your crew, and there's some people who just can't get down. If you're not vetted, you're not part of this.
Yeah, no, of course.
And I'm speaking from a street aspect because even in the movement, I've been offered money. The stories I could tell you, and I wish I would have saved the messages. I've shown people, but I didn't save the messages. I don't think I was that savvy back then. But I was offered money, and I'm like, no. Even in the streets, I would never sell no brother out. Why? Because my conscience wouldn't allow me. Because how I was raised in a tight knit community, in like even when I moved in straight black pride, even when that was everybody started going their separate ways, people wanted me to publicly say things about people, and I'm like, that's not who I am. And my disagreements with folks in the movement wasn't nothing that was irreparable. It was just difference in opinions. It was nothing that would make me get on any platform and disrespect anybody, particularly since we've all been to each other's homes. We stayed at each other's homes, ate each other's food. I don't care what you think anybody's done. If I call you my man and we tight, I'm not gonna publicly come and blast you. That I don't do. And people was looking for that, and that did happen, unfortunately, within the movement, and that sent things in the wrong direction. But again, the vetting process, because I didn't trust everybody because they knew the language. People could cite a book, they could cite this, that, and the third, but people wasn't putting their hands on people like it was supposed to happen. And people, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, gutter. People in the movement, some saw who Tad from Fulton Street was. They was like, oh shit, he's really, really about that. No, we not gonna get it twisted. And I get it. Everybody's not like that. Like in every crew, like let's say your crew, everybody not gonna put in the work Gutter gonna do. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. And we gotta expect that. But those of us that is willing to put it on the line, put that work in, those warriors, those soldiers, we got to stand tall. And we got to link up and get in alignment. The thing is, people talk that warrior talk, but when it's time to do what warriors supposed to do, people fold or they disappear. And that's just a fact. I seen it in the streets. I seen it in the movement. And I'm like, this is how things get infiltrated. This is how things get jammed up. You know what I'm saying?
This is all right. One thing, initiation rituals.
Shout out to our brother Chase Black. This is why initiation rituals is important. You see what your comrades are made of. Yeah. Me and Chase soldiered out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? That's my dude. You won't catch me throwing my brother under the bus. In town, out of town, around town. I ain't gonna front. I had to stop Chase a few times. Like, yo. You know what I'm saying? But it's a reality that exists. You know what I'm saying? It's a reality that exists. And some folks really got to get dealt with. And what happens is, because Gutter, we had talked about eldership before, not you and I, but me and some other comrades, we talked about eldership within the movement, who, like you said, sometimes they give people passes. What you were saying earlier, sometimes people should get hurt in the hood. They don't, because somebody like them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely agree with that. And that's why, it's just something that we really got to critique. And I get it, because everybody can't do the same job.
We can't. All right. This is the thing. We'll have a movement that's all encompassing and not separate one from the other. We don't separate the warriors from the intellectuals, though it could be some that are of both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Both, that could be both, but you know what I'm saying? Ones that aren't of the warrior class. We gotta, separate them, and they can't speak on that type of on those subjects, or basically even know what's going on,
right,
about that type of stuff.
right, and that's you hit it on the head, because that's what it was. It was a need to know basis. A lot of things that unfolded was a need to know basis. People that got dealt with, a need to know basis. Because it's Dr. Khaled, you echo something Dr. Khaled said. We need our healers and dealers with the K. You know what I'm saying? We need everybody. We need our intellects. We need our diplomats.
Yeah,
This
and
is how
that's what I'm saying. And like it could be it, and you might have a few dynamic people that can be 3 in 1: a diplomat, a warrior, and an intellect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they're not, because we have to separate the warrior from everything else, because we can only have talks that we understand. We
Right.
don't. It doesn't have to be intellectualized, or you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with all the fluffy, the pretty, yeah.
It's we know in the situation comes to head, we know what we're gonna do.
Right. 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 Because there's a time and a place for everything, and that's what a vetting process.
And like nobody else could speak to us on security, things of that nature, because that's like
Sister K Fighter said, I'm not playing with nobody. A lot of folks got to be called to the carpet on their BS, and some need to atone for past actions. I agree, sis. I agree. And see, sis been in the movement for a long time with a lot of the heavy hitters. She's open and hosted and spoke for and spoke with, and it's a real deal. You know what I'm saying? It's a real deal. Everybody, it's like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this time is a weird time, and to bring it back to Kendrick, because I don't want people to lose focus on. We were talking about Kendrick and Drake and the significance of what Kendrick has done to Drake with the whole movement, the culture, calling it out, because I think a lot of people couldn't grasp the understanding of what Kendrick did, and that's to call out those who are literally in our midst, and identify them for what they are. You're a colonizer. You working for the ops and with the ops. And I wonder, real quick, I wonder if that's what Kendrick did to J. Cole. Did he tap him on the shoulder? Like, let me tell you, son, this about to get ugly, and I don't think you want what I'm about to dish out. Because notice J. Cole tapped out early.
I think it was more of a, this ain't about you. It's like, I need to holler at dude.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with you. I need to really holler at dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Sis said, yeah, because we got to get the Remy. Yeah. That was, with Remy, and we had touched on that a little earlier, Sister Keisha. God ain't want to go into details, ain't really want to speak on it because he don't got all the specifics about it. You know what I'm saying? But we could definitely revisit, you know what I'm saying, as we watch it unfold. Because one of the things, again, music weaponized. I feel bad for Remy as a mother. I feel bad for the brother who lost his life. And this I'm talking about, we are literally knocking off potential warriors and our potential nation we can build, because we can build a nation. You got rainbow folks with laws on the books protecting them and everything they want, and more of that. And Sister K Fighter, real quick, I just felt bad because it's almost like a criminal element is being perpetuated within the family. Because we know what was happening with her and our dude Papoose. When we had my youth group, our 1-year anniversary, Papoose came as the keynote speaker, right, Gutter? And I thought that was dope because he didn't have to do it, part one. And part two, he did it knowing he had a busy schedule, because at first he said, I'll see. And then he said, yo, I can't do it because my schedule, I got something to do that day. I was like, cool, no problem. But then he hit us back like, yo, a matter of fact, I can make it because I'm gonna be at the Barclays and you're gonna be at Atlantic Terminals at the community center. So Papoose came, he spoke to the children real quick, and I thought that was dope that he took time out of his busy schedule. Because again, we're not dealing with power when we deal with young people, because young people really don't know what power is. Young people respond to influence. You know what I'm saying? And we got to get influential people. I took my children to meet Dr. Umar back before he became the guy he is now, when he was still grassroots and seemed pretty much sincere about his efforts, I would say. We took the children to so many master teachers. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you about the education. But then as you get around, as you move within the community, you start to see who really about it, who not, and who just want the influence and not really build an empowerment movement. And, because power shares power. Like, you my bro, Gutter. So if I got something that I could benefit from in this more, I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put K Fight on. I'm gonna put my peoples on. That's what we supposed to do. Because if I got all the power, I get knocked off, then game over. And we see that in our movement too many times. As Dr. Clark said, you bury the man, continue to plan. But when you the only one, when you the King Kong of this, when you the only one, when you the most respected, you the most requested, something happened to you, then what happens to the rest of us? We lost sheep again. And everybody know in military, you wanna scatter the sheep, just strike the shepherd. Take the shepherd down, the sheep is lost. But what if you turn the sheep into shepherds? Turn the sheep into wolves? Then
that's
you
what I do.
Yeah. Because I realized, right, Gutter, I was at places where people supposed to get dealt with, got dealt with on the spot, and folks start crying, oh, don't do that, we all black. Like, nah, he deserves it. He deserves it. I remember Tommy Sotomayor came to Harlem and got punched in the face. And everybody's like, nah, that's wrong, that's wrong. Nah, it wasn't wrong. Because Tommy Sotomayor,
yeah,
he's a YouTube influencer who really had this disdain for black women. He really did. He really did. He used to talk bad about black women, and then he came to Harlem. He's not even from New York. He came to an event in Harlem. Dudes saw him, and dudes dealt with him.
Oh yeah, spank him immediately.
Yeah, but then no, and it was black women saying y'all wrong. Like, nah, he not gonna.
I mean,
folks are not gonna be allowed to come in our space.
You have to expect that from our women.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying?
That's what you said. You stole them. Yeah. But go ahead, go to your point. You were saying something.
They are our compassion, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know what they did? All they did was stop y'all from taking it stop whoever was spanking them from taking it too far. All right, y'all gave him a good ass whipping. Stop, leave alone. But they end up like, you're just whooping a little bit more.
Right.
Stop, girl, look at him. They kicking his ass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all that is. That's how you know our compassion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And that's it goes back to what you said. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to what you said, everybody can't be there because of these things. We don't want to send conflicting messages because if the women say the brother's got to protect the women, he's disrespectful to black women. But then when you protect the black women, like, don't protect me, though. We got to get clear on what our position is. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say, the vetting process. And it goes to what you were saying, too. Put them on the side. Yeah, K Fighter said, not me, God. I hit different. I have no mercy. I was about to say K Fighter wasn't there.
No, but listen.
Jumped in.
Listen, that's we also because this is the thing. Women was also our strength when it comes to they know when they sending their kids to war, so it means something to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They sending their sons to war. You know what I'm saying? So if they saying, yeah, go handle that, yeah, you handle that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. We definitely gotta, hold the line and moving forward, because our jobs as the warriors is to protect the women and children and teach them what our value system is. Because again, you got so many influences out here that's
Listen,
trying to move our people away.
we have some women warriors as well too.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So
They
we
fight
got
one of them.
we got to make sure we allow the ones that's warriors to be warriors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get dead on the front line with us.
Yeah. Because all sisters ain't gonna hold the line like that.
Yeah, that's what make us stronger.
Yeah.
See, you got to remember the European, the Yoruba, he put the woman in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's his thing. Because what I learned when I was in Ghana, in fact, when I was in Ghana, I forget what year it was. It was one of the years. I don't know if it was my second trip. It might have been my second trip. So that was like 2017. Yeah, I think it was 2017, 2018. One of those years that I went. Because I went 16, 17, 18, and 19. But one of those years, the Queen Mother had passed. And the only people at that moment that could really summon the king or even chastise or discipline the king is the women. Something you said earlier, we look at things through a European lens, which I agree, because one of the questions that I was asked at the king's palace is like, why the king is never married to the queen? And he was like, because they're always related. If you marry the king, you just a wife to the king. You marry the queen, you just a husband to the queen. But the queen, chances are, is the mother, the aunt, or the grandmother.
Matrilineal.
Yeah, matrilineal. The mothers pretty much run everything.
Yeah, the queen
mother. Who select who the king is going to be.
That's why she's the queen mother.
Yeah, grandma knows which of her grandchildren is going to be a good leader.
Yeah.
So she calls that shot. Like, yo.
Teaching them. Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of them are the royal family. A part of the royal family nonetheless, because it's a bloodline. So this is stuff that a lot of people don't know about what goes on from our society. Because even when we look at our southern roots, even the grandpa in the house, grandma word holds a lot of weight. Grandma say, yo, me and Dougie always laugh because my grandmas will sick us on somebody. My grandmas will sick us on somebody. Grandma say, get him, you got.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Somebody did grandma wrong.
Yeah. And if you do grandma wrong, one time I threw my landlord down the stairs because he was yelling at my grandmother one day. I was like, yo, who are you talking to? It's like, Tad, don't hit him. Because she knew he's a cop caller. And that's just what he did. I said, I ain't going to hit him, grandma. But I grabbed his throat and threw him down the stairs. Of course, he called the police, and I explained to them. I said, nah, he was being disrespectful to my grandmother. So that was that. But this is the type of energy all of us need to be on, because me personally, I see a lot of older Black women as my grandma. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of women my mother's age can be my mother. Yeah. Now, whether I agree with their politics or not is a different story, because a lot of older women, I don't agree with their politics. I don't agree with their ideas. But the way my mind is wired, I'm still a protector. And I was raised as such, and I'm going to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of people are being swayed to side with the ops. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big problem.
I mean, that's been going on for years.
Yeah. And there's always been freedom fighters like us, like a Malcolm, like a Dr. Khaled, like a Nat Turner, like a Dr. Clark. Those of us who's going to go against the status quo and push back. We can't be in agreement with everybody and everything they saying and doing, because a lot of things that's promoted ain't in our best interest. And we gotta have the discernment to be able to identify that. How does this benefit us? It's something Kamala Harris said, and we laughed at it. Sister K Fighter had pulled up the video the other day, and she was talking about when Black people benefit, when all people benefit. And I'm like, nah, that's not how this works.
ass backwards.
Yeah, because black people got
Everybody
specific needs.
benefits. Everybody benefits when we benefit.
Right, right. So she was talking about, all the things, because when you ask her what is she going to do specifically for black people, her and Barack Obama, they never have any action plans for black people specifically, but they always have something for the alphabet folks, Asians, migrants.
Nobody does.
Right. And that's my point. But these are so quote unquote black people.
This I'm saying.
That black people went out in mass and supported.
In the history of this country.
Sister Farnessa said the renegade Indian got a crime bill for her people. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. Since the inception of this country, who has done anything
for us specifically?
Exactly.
Right. Nobody. And everything we ever had was stuff we fought for. And people don't realize that. Like, and sometimes it kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I get it. Some people don't study the history of black people in America and don't realize a lot of what we have is not to the benevolence of white people.
Nah.
Even the pseudo emancipation proclamation.
It was out of fear.
Fear and us really kicking ass.
That's what I'm saying. Fear.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes
is nothing that got passed that wasn't out of fear of black people in mass becoming violent.
Right. Right. And that's what I was gonna say. Even there's an episode in Roots that shows during the Nat Turner rebellion how I forget which one of Kunta's descendants it was, but he came home and he was shook to death. And he was pulling his hammer out on every black person he saw. And his wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "You ain't hear about that boy Nat Turner? You hear about that boy Nat Turner?" And they really talked about, I think Roots, as black folks, learn more about our story and learn about the laws that were passed and the political climate of specific periods in history, should go back and look at Roots, because it dealt with even the ideas between Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois. They talked about that.
Even I think it had the Baker's Rebellion in there.
They might have. They might have.
I know they had white indentured service and they fought.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that was it, but it might have been just a assimilation of like a story that's parallel to that. It might not have been the actual Baker's Rebellion, but I know after that, white people was free.
Yeah, right. And you might be right. I think it was that they mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? Sister Farnessa said that's why it's not beneficial for black men to show themselves as non-threatening. They're using reverse psychology when they get you all to go along with being non-violent. I agree with that, sis. And our sister Kay Fighter says, as you enter the New York Historical Society, there's a plaque card on Asian American rights. And next to it is the statue of Frederick Douglass and a quote from his speech where he advocated for the Asians. See the distortion of history. And our sister Kay Fighter always encourages people to go to the New York Historical Society, where they have a lot of information on enslaved and where they have a lot of black history, I say, from our enslavement, because the misinformation is always that slavery only happened in the South, or they'll have you believe that if you don't know no better and search deeper into the layers of the lies and misinformation that's put out there. Sister K Fighter says, yes, Sis Farnessa, our brothers must remain dangerous in these streets. That's a fact. And there's always a concerted effort against Sister K. As I'm talking about the imagery, how entertainment has been weaponized against us. In fact, Gutter, did you see, it was a basketball player, I forget his name. He just recently did a presentation to young people, but he was talking about publicists and why they give all of these athletes publicists, because during the times of Muhammad Ali and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jim Brown and all of them, how those athletes stood up and spoke up for black people, and how the ones now hardly speak on anything. And we know they going to practice in games wearing women's clothes. Did you see that video?
No.
Yeah, it's just a weaponization against so much. And that's why, again, let's bring it back to Kendrick, because we talk about Kendrick. I know somebody asked Underworld Crime Journals asked for us to hit on Remy. We had touched on Remy earlier, but we're gonna wait till more details come out about her son and things like that, because we already familiar with Remy's case and some people aren't. But we want more facts on what's going on with her son Jace before we really talk about it. Again, it's a lose-lose situation when families go through this turmoil. You know what I mean? Because nobody wins. Somebody's planning the funeral, somebody's incarcerated. Both have family members that love them. So there's no winners in this for nobody.
One lost his life, one fight, two like fighting for their life.
Yeah. You know, our brother Ray say they just want money. Yeah. These new athletes. In fact, there's a book, William Bowden, I think his name is, wrote the book $40 Million Slaves. Phenomenal book. I read that about 10 years ago. But it talked about the paradigm shift of athletes and how these people, again, everything is weaponized against us. Yeah, the $40 million slave, I think is William Bowden. No. What's the brother name? It's not William Bowden. I'm gonna give you his name right now, Gutter. I'm gonna give you the name of the book, because he goes into it. Because again, there's so much that goes against us. $40 million slave. That is, William Roden, not William Bowden. William C. Roden. The $40 million slaves. Yeah. Because I'm mixing William Roden's name with, we once interviewed the first black Secret Service agent. His name was Abraham Bowden. Yeah. He was and he's still alive, Gutter. He's still alive. He talked about how he had thwarted the 2 assassination attempts on JFK prior to them being successful in Dallas. And he has a book out. I forget the name of his book too, but we had a conversation before. Me and Sister K Fighter. That's right. Oh, she put his name up too. Right. William Roden. That's his name. Yep. And Abraham Bowden. Yep. He alive and still kicking. Hopefully we could get him up here in the future show before he transitioned, because we got a wealth of people walking around that was literally there, literally at these places, and could put it in its proper context, because he was the first black Secret Service agent, but they had put him down in the basement to keep him out of sight, because they didn't want nobody to know that they had a black Secret Service agent. And from what he tells, he said they were doing renovations in the White House and Kennedy had to go to the bathroom. So he went down in the basement and said, "Oh, I didn't know we had one of them on staff now," and asked for Abraham Bowden to be on his immediate detail. And he said they knew about the attempt and it was stopped a couple of times, but they made sure he wasn't on duty that day, that he wasn't on the detail rather. So there's so much, and he's still alive and kicking. And these are stories that are left out, because as we look at the political climate, a lot of this foolishness is not new. It's just a lot of misinformation, because we got social media as a communication platform now. But you see, they censor it with saying, this is not true, fact check. Because look at where Dr. Fauci is right now in congressional hearings. Now he's trying to deny that they force people to get jabbed up. And it's just an ugly situation right now. And people are not owning their part. And Dr. Fauci, that's our time. That was 4 years ago. For young people, 4 years seemed like forever, because they might not even been into politics or even knew who Dr. Fauci was then. You think somebody who's 20 now was 16 back then, they ain't studying politics. They just know the world is shut down, but all predicated on the big lie that all has to get revealed. And again, that's what Kendrick's position is, because you were talking about the art of MCing, and that's what Kendrick is. Kendrick is an MC. Drake is a rapper. He makes songs. He make hit songs. He has other people. Say
he's an entertainer. As a rapper, because
you don't even give him rapper now.
No, you're not a rapper. You're an entertainer. That's like Puff. Puff is an entertainer. Puff not no rapper.
Yeah.
Whoever else got Dr. Dre. You know, Dr. Dre is not a rapper. He's a producer. He's an entertainer, though.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Yep. But we coming down to the wire, Gutter. Anything you want to touch on before we let the people go?
Nah. I had some shit I had to do anyway, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, like keep cool. Because I don't know where y'all at, but it's a big heat wave going on in New York.
It's baking up here.
We might hit the pool, might hit the sprinklers, might hit the beach. I don't know. But if that's it, Gutter, you know, again, for everybody that was looking for us to touch on Remy, we did touch the surface, but again, we're gonna get more into the details of the case right now, because as it stands right now, it's all allegations based on
gossip.
Investigation. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't want to gossip on nothing, because if I don't know nothing, if I'm just talking, that's gossip.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Sister Farnessa says now Fauci is crying about getting threats. Our brother Groom said he's the same fool that said you could get AIDS being in close proximity to someone who has AIDS. Yeah, I remember that foolishness. Shout out to everybody who's fighting or living their life with HIV and AIDS. You know, we still support our brothers and sisters that have been infected, you know, and some folks are literally living their best life, educating people from that misinformation, because a lot of people were shunned from their own family who was diagnosed, and that's not fair, man. You know, and I'll always say that's biological warfare. Anybody gonna tell me no different? You know, so salute everybody living and thriving with that diagnosis. You know, Sister Farnessa said it's 40 levels of hell in Alabama. Oh yeah, I don't talk about Alabama. Y'all sitting in the sun.
Oh yeah, I already know. Shit, I used to live in Mississippi, nigga.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with no Mississippi heat.
Bro, you outside panting like a dog.
Look, I don't want to deal with this Brooklyn heat, man, let alone some southern heat.
What?
Sister K Fighter says stay hydrated out there.
That's a fact.
You know, our brother Ray said he killed people. He deleted people. That's a fact. Brother Ray gave me a lot of information. Brother Ray always studying up on Dr. Fauci. I think since this whole thing started, gave me so much jewels, told me the books to read and everything. In fact, he gave me a video too that I've yet to finish looking at. I have to check that out. Shout out to our brother Ray and the BK William Mackey Jr. History Club. If y'all ever want to get more conversations about history from the teachers and political, the community activists that were literally there. These are not kids, these are not young folks, these people serious about it. BK William Mackey Jr. History Club on YouTube. Check them out. Our brother Ray, our brother Mike Grace, we call the History Hitman. He has a wealth of information. K fighting these damn GMO mosquitoes, okay? Yeah, yo, that's a whole nother conversation about the mosquitoes as we talk about biological warfare. You know what I'm saying? Say dirty B. That's right. Yeah. Sister K said, yup, Ray Ben and Fauci as no Diddy. Yeah, but family, we want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all stay blessed, y'all stay up, y'all stay true, and stay hydrated if you out there dealing with this sun. We will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat station. Definitely want to shout out our sister Farnessa, sister K Fighter, brother Ray, our brother C Grooms, who we had on last week. Shout out to him. We definitely want to shout out everybody supporting those who checked in, those who didn't. Our brother Che Black. You know, Che Black used to work our camera, so a lot of early videos, a lot of videos of us out in the streets. Anytime you see us in the streets, that's our brother Che Black. Look him up, check him out. If he in your area, you can hire him for your film work too. You know what I'm saying? He do dope filming, dope editing. So we up out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.